Ladies and gentlemen, the ultra-successful do not rely on motivation. They rely on structure. They do not wait for inspiration. They build routines. While the average person hopes for a better future, the ultra-successful design one day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. You see, success leaves clues. And when you look closely at those who are winning in business, in leadership, in health, in life, you'll discover something fascinating. Their breakthroughs are public, but their habits are private. Their rewards are visible, but their disciplines are hidden. The major key to your future is not found in what you do once in a while. It is found in what you do every single day. A few extra minutes of reading, a few moments of planning, a commitment to health, a decision to grow instead of complain. Small things? Yes. But small things practiced consistently become powerful forces. Today, we're going to talk about the daily habits of the ultra-successful. Not the glamorous myths, but the practical disciplines. Because if you want a better life, you don't need a new dream. You need a better routine. Change your daily habits, and you change your results. Change your results, and you change your life. Win the morning, and you win the day. It sounds simple, but do not mistake simplicity for weakness. The ultra-successful understand that the first hour of the day is not just another 60 minutes. It is the foundation upon which the rest of the day is built. Most people wake up reactive. The alarm goes off, and immediately they reach for their phone. Messages, notifications, problems, other people's agendas. Before their feet even touch the floor, they have surrendered control. And when you begin your day reacting, you spend the rest of it recovering. The ultra-successful do the opposite. They wake up proactive. They decide the tone of their morning before the world decides it for them. They understand a principle that great teachers like Jim Rohn often emphasized. You must take control of your day, or your day will take control of you. Winning the morning does not require dramatic rituals. It requires intentional ones. It may mean rising a little earlier, not because you enjoy leaving your warm bed, but because you enjoy winning more than you enjoy comfort. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. The first victory of the day is getting up when you said you would. That small promise kept builds self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of confidence. When you prove to yourself that you can keep simple commitments, you begin to trust yourself with bigger ones. Then comes clarity. The ultra-successful do not drift into their day. They design it. They take time in the morning to think, to ask what are the most important things I must accomplish today. Not 10 things, not 20 distractions. A few key priorities that move the needle forward. Success is not about being busy. It is about being effective. Winning the morning also means feeding your mind before the world feeds it for you. A few pages of a good book, a few minutes of reflection, perhaps writing in a journal. The mind, like the body, needs nourishment. If you do not intentionally plant positive, purposeful thoughts in your mind, weeds will grow by default. Your health also plays a part. The ultra-successful treat their bodies as instruments, not ornaments. A short walk, stretching, exercise. Something to awaken the system and signal to your brain, we are alive, we are capable, we are moving forward. Energy is a competitive advantage, and energy is cultivated, not wished for. But perhaps the most powerful part of winning the morning is emotional control. The morning sets your emotional thermostat. If you begin rushed, frustrated, and chaotic, that temperature carries through the day. But if you begin calm, focused, and grateful, you carry that strength into every meeting, every conversation, every decision. Gratitude is a powerful morning habit. Before the pressures begin, the ultra-successful pause to recognize what is already working. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. And when you operate from abundance, you make better choices. Winning the morning is not about perfection. Some mornings will be messy, some will feel heavy. But consistency matters more than intensity. It is not about one perfect morning. It is about building a pattern. And patterns create momentum. Momentum is powerful. When you accomplish something meaningful early in the day, you gain psychological leverage. You think, I'm already making progress. That sense of progress fuels further action. Action builds results. Results build belief. On the other hand, if you lose the morning, if you oversleep, rush, skip your priorities, and allow distractions to dominate, You spend the day trying to catch up. And life is not meant to be lived catching up. It is meant to be lived moving forward with purpose. The ultra-successful understand that mornings are like seeds. What you plant in those first hours grows throughout the day. Plant discipline, you harvest achievement. Plant clarity, you harvest productivity. Plant gratitude, you harvest peace. You may not control every event that happens after 9 a.m. Challenges will come, surprises will appear. But if you have already centered yourself, clarified your priorities, and built early momentum, you face those challenges from a position of strength rather than weakness. So win the morning before the day wins you. Do not negotiate with your alarm. Do not surrender your focus to distractions. Do not hand over your mindset to the noise of the world. Instead, rise with intention. Think with clarity. Move with purpose. Feed your mind. Strengthen your body. Direct your emotions. Because how you start your day is often how you live your life. And if you can master your mornings little by little, you begin to master your destiny. Invest in personal growth every single day. Not once a month. Not when you feel inspired. Not when things fall apart. Every single day. One of the great philosophies taught by leaders like Jim Rohn is simple but powerful. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Your job may earn you a living, but your personal growth will earn you a fortune. And fortune does not always mean money. It means wisdom. It means confidence. It means influence. It means becoming the kind of person capable of handling bigger opportunities. The ultra-successful understand something the average person ignores. Your income rarely exceeds your level of personal development for long. If you want more, you must become more. If you want better results, you must become a better thinker, a better communicator, a better decision maker. Personal growth is not an event. It is a lifestyle. The world is constantly changing. Industries shift. Technology evolves. Markets fluctuate. If you are not growing, you are not standing still. You are falling behind. Growth is not optional in a competitive world. It is required. So what does daily growth look like? It starts with feeding your mind. The ultra-successful read. They listen. They study. A few pages of a powerful book each day may not seem dramatic, but over a year it becomes thousands of pages, thousands of ideas, thousands of perspectives that reshape how you think. And when you change how you think, you change how you act. Your mind is like a garden. If you do not plant seeds intentionally, weeds grow automatically. Negative news, complaints, doubts, and fears will fill the space if you let them. But when you intentionally plant ideas of possibility, discipline, leadership, and courage, your mental garden produces strength. Personal growth also means asking better questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the ultra-successful ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of blaming, they analyze. Instead of complaining, they correct. Growth requires humility, the humility to admit you do not know everything, and the courage to learn what you do not know. Another part of growth is skill development. Success leaves clues and skills create value. Communication skills, leadership skills, financial literacy, emotional intelligence. The marketplace rewards value. The more value you bring, the more rewards you receive. And value is not an accident. It is built through learning and practice. The ultra-successful do not wait for formal education to end before they stop learning. In fact, many of them believe real education begins after school. They attend seminars. They seek mentors. They surround themselves with people who challenge them to think bigger. They understand that proximity influences possibility. Growth is not always comfortable. In fact, it is rarely comfortable. Reading something that challenges your beliefs can feel unsettling. Receiving feedback can sting. Trying a new skill can make you feel awkward. But discomfort is often the price of expansion. Muscles grow through resistance. Character grows through challenge. Personal growth also requires reflection. It is not enough to gather information. You must internalize it. Take time to think about what you are learning. How does it apply to your life? Where can you implement it today? Knowledge without application is merely trivia. Applied knowledge becomes transformation. There is also a compounding effect to daily growth. Just as money compounds with interest, so does improvement. A 1% improvement each day may feel insignificant, but over time it creates a dramatic difference. The person you become after a year of consistent growth is unrecognizable compared to the person who stayed comfortable. The ultra-successful fall in love with this process. They do not grow only for rewards. They grow because growth itself is fulfilling, becoming more capable, more disciplined, more insightful. That brings a sense of progress that no paycheck alone can provide. And here is something powerful. When you grow, your confidence grows with you. Confidence does not come from positive thinking alone. It comes from evidence. Evidence that you are learning. Evidence that you are improving. Evidence that you can handle more today than you could yesterday. Daily growth also prepares you for opportunity. Opportunity often arrives unannounced, and when it does, it demands readiness. If you have been investing in yourself quietly and consistently, you can step forward with competence instead of hesitation. Do not underestimate small daily investments. 10 pages a day, 15 minutes of skill practice, a thoughtful conversation with someone wiser. Over months and years, these small deposits create extraordinary returns. The ultra-successful do not chase shortcuts. They build foundations. They understand that who they are becoming is more important than what they are acquiring. Because once you become the right person, you can create success again and again. So invest in personal growth every single day. Guard your mind. Stretch your abilities. Seek wisdom. Practice your skills. Reflect on your lessons. Because the greatest project you will ever work on is not your career or your business. It is you. And when you commit to improving yourself daily, success is no longer a distant dream. It becomes a natural result of the person you are becoming. Practice relentless discipline over emotion. Now that may sound harsh at first, but stay with me. The ultra-successful are not people without emotions. They feel disappointment. They feel fear. They feel frustration. The difference is not in what they feel. It's in what they do despite what they feel. Emotion says, I don't feel like it today. Discipline says, do it anyway. And over time, that simple decision repeated daily creates extraordinary results. One of the principles often emphasized by Jim Rohn is that we must learn to govern our philosophies rather than be governed by our feelings. Feelings are powerful, but they are poor leaders. They change with the weather, with the mood, with the latest inconvenience. If you build your life on how you feel each day, your progress will always be inconsistent. The ultra-successful understand that success is not about intensity, it is about consistency. And consistency requires discipline. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline remains. There will be mornings when you do not feel like waking up early. There will be days when you do not feel like working on your goals. There will be moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. Emotion will always offer you the comfortable option. Discipline will point you toward the necessary one. And here is the truth. Your future rewards are determined more by your disciplined actions than by your emotional highs. Discipline is the bridge between intention and accomplishment. Many people have good intentions. They set goals. They make promises. They get excited. But without discipline, intention evaporates at the first sign of difficulty. The ultra-successful build habits that reduce the need for constant decision-making. They create systems. They schedule their priorities. They remove temptations. They structure their environment in a way that supports their commitments. Why? Because they understand that relying on willpower alone is exhausting. But building disciplined routines makes success automatic. Discipline also shows up in emotional control. When criticism comes, emotion wants to react immediately. Discipline pauses. It listens. It evaluates. When failure occurs, emotion wants to complain or blame. Discipline asks, what can I learn from this? When success arrives, emotion wants to become complacent. Discipline says, stay focused, stay sharp. Relentless discipline does not mean being rigid or joyless. It means aligning your daily actions with your long-term vision. It means remembering what you said you wanted when things get uncomfortable. Comfort is seductive. It whispers, you've done enough. You deserve a break. Start tomorrow. And sometimes rest is necessary. But comfort, when unmonitored, becomes a thief. It steals momentum. It steals growth. It steals potential. The ultra-successful delay gratification. They understand that small sacrifices today create significant freedom tomorrow. While others spend impulsively, they invest. While others procrastinate, they execute. While others complain about circumstances, they adjust their strategy. Discipline builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. And identity is powerful. When you identify as disciplined, your actions align with that belief. On the other hand, when you repeatedly break promises to yourself, your confidence erodes. You begin to doubt your own words. That doubt seeps into bigger opportunities. Discipline protects your self-trust. Relentless discipline also creates resilience. When you train yourself to act regardless of mood, you become less fragile. You are not easily thrown off course by setbacks. You expect difficulty. You prepare for it. You move through it. Think about physical training. Muscles grow through resistance. Without resistance, there is no strength. The same is true for character. Discipline is the resistance that strengthens your will. And here is something powerful. Discipline compounds. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. The first time you push through discomfort, it feels difficult. The 10th time, it feels normal. Eventually, what once required effort becomes part of who you are. The ultra-successful do not negotiate with their goals daily. They decide once and then manage their behavior accordingly. They understand that emotions are temporary, but results are lasting. There will always be reasons to quit. There will always be distractions. There will always be excuses that sound reasonable. But discipline asks a simple question: what did you commit to? When you answer that question honestly and act accordingly, you separate yourself from the crowd. Practice relentless discipline over emotion. Feel what you feel, but do not surrender your direction to it. Build routines that support your ambitions. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Choose long-term gain over short-term comfort. Because in the end, success does not belong to the most talented. It does not belong to the most motivated. It belongs to those who show up again and again regardless of how they feel. And when discipline becomes your habit, success becomes your pattern. Review, reflect, and refine daily. The ultra-successful do not just act, they evaluate. They do not just move forward blindly. They pause long enough to ask whether they are moving in the right direction. Activity alone does not guarantee progress. You can be busy and still be ineffective. But when you take time to review and reflect, you transform experience into wisdom. One of the philosophies strongly associated with thinkers like Jim Rohn is that life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change, and change begins with awareness. You cannot improve what you refuse to examine. Most people live on autopilot. They repeat the same routines, make the same mistakes, react the same way, and then wonder why nothing changes. Days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and eventually into a life that looks very similar to the one they started with. Not because they lacked potential, but because they lacked reflection. The ultra-successful break that cycle. At the end of the day, they ask themselves powerful questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? What distracted me? What moved me closer to my goals? What needs adjustment tomorrow? These questions are not asked with self-condemnation. They are asked with responsibility. There is a difference. Self-condemnation weakens you. Responsibility strengthens you. When you take ownership of your results, you gain the power to influence them. Reflection turns mistakes into lessons. Without reflection, mistakes become habits. Think about that. If you never pause to analyze what went wrong, you are likely to repeat it. But if you review your actions honestly, you can correct course quickly. Daily review does not have to take hours. Even 10 to 15 quiet minutes can change your trajectory. Sit with a notebook. Replay your day. Notice patterns. Notice emotions. Notice decisions. Awareness creates clarity, and clarity leads to better choices. The ultra-successful also review their goals regularly, not once a year. Not only when things go wrong, they keep their objectives visible. They measure progress. They ask, am I moving forward or am I drifting? Drift is subtle. It happens quietly. A small compromise here, a delayed task there. Before long, you are far from where you intended to be. Daily review protects you from drift. Reflection also strengthens emotional intelligence. When you examine how you responded to challenges, you begin to understand yourself better. Did you react impulsively? Did you stay calm? Did you listen carefully? Self-awareness is a competitive advantage. It allows you to refine not just your actions, but your character. Refinement is the next step. Once you identify what worked and what did not, you make small adjustments. Success rarely requires massive overhauls. It often requires minor corrections applied consistently, a slight improvement in time management, a better way to communicate, a clearer priority list. Small refinements, compounded over time, create extraordinary results. Imagine an airplane flying across the ocean. If it is off course by just a few degrees and never corrects, it will miss its destination by miles. But with regular adjustments, it arrives precisely where it intended. Your life works the same way. Review is your course correction. There is also something powerful about ending the day intentionally. When you reflect, you close mental loops. You learn from the day instead of carrying its confusion into tomorrow. You sleep with clarity rather than clutter. The ultra-successful are not afraid of discovering their weaknesses. They understand that weakness ignored becomes limitation. Weakness acknowledged becomes an opportunity for growth. When you refine daily, you are constantly sharpening your edge. Review also builds gratitude. As you reflect, you notice progress you might otherwise overlook. You see how far you have come. You recognize small wins. Gratitude fuels motivation. It reminds you that your effort matters. Over time, this habit of review, reflection, and refinement creates a powerful feedback loop. Act, evaluate, adjust, improve, repeat. Each day becomes a laboratory for growth. Each experience becomes data for development. Without reflection, years can pass with minimal transformation. With reflection, even 1 year can dramatically reshape your future. So do not rush from one day into the next without thought. Pause, examine, learn, correct, improve. Because success is not a single decision made once. It is a series of adjustments made daily. And when you commit to reviewing your life with honesty, reflecting with responsibility, and refining with discipline, you ensure that you are not merely living, you are progressing. And progress, measured and improved daily, is what ultimately separates the average from the extraordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at the ultra-successful, you may be tempted to focus on their achievements, the titles, the income, the recognition, the lifestyle. But if you truly study their lives, you will discover something far more powerful than their results. You will discover their routines. They win the morning before the day wins them. They invest in personal growth every single day. They practice relentless discipline over emotion. They review, reflect, and refine consistently. None of these habits are dramatic. None of them require extraordinary talent. But together, practiced daily, they create extraordinary lives. Success is not built in the spotlight. It is built in the quiet moments when you choose discipline over distraction. It is built when you read instead of scroll, when you act instead of delay, when you evaluate instead of blame, when you improve instead of excuse. The truth is simple. Your life tomorrow is being shaped by your habits today. You do not need a completely new plan. You need a better daily routine. You do not need to become a different person overnight. You need to make slightly better choices consistently, because small disciplines repeated with consistency always lead to remarkable outcomes. Remember this: success is not something you chase. It is something you attract by the person you become. And the person you become is shaped by what you do every single day. If you commit to mastering your mornings, growing your mind, controlling your emotions, and evaluating your progress, you will not need to worry about success. It will come looking for you. Your future is not decided in one massive breakthrough. It is decided in the quiet, ordinary moments of daily discipline. So starting today, raise your standards, guard your habits, protect your focus, improve a little each day. Because when you change your daily habits, you change your direction. When you change your direction, you change your results. And when you change your results consistently enough, you change your life.